Hey everyone, welcome back to Twin Flame Insights. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of twin flames and their physical connections. We're going to chat about everything from connecting with Source to the specifics of physically uniting with your twin flame. Expect to hear about recognizing your twin flame, getting through tough spiritual challenges, figuring out what our souls are really about, and the ins and outs of twin flame relationships in the real world. Consider this video as a glimpse into the details. We're not claiming to have all the answers, but we're sharing our experiences and stories we've heard from the twin flame community and beyond. Remember, we're discussing spiritual matters here, which are more about things that are understood and felt, not so much things that can be seen or touched. We're looking into topics like love, spirit, ego, and energy. These things are real but can't be physically pointed out, and people often have different ways of understanding them. We do our best to keep it simple and relatable, but always listen to your gut. Do some extra research, and most importantly, trust your own experiences. Our aim is to help everyone understand these ideas better, find personal freedom, and be our best selves, leading lives filled with joy and peace. So, let's discuss how we're all interconnected. At the deepest level, we're all part of one vast energy source. Imagine viewing everything from a God's eye view. Here, we're not separate at all, we're all part of the same entity. At this level, there's no such thing as separateness. Everything in the universe, from living beings to energy, basic materials to stars and planets, is unified. There is no you and me, and there is no other. We are all just the one source or God, as many might say. Now, stepping down from this God's eye view, things start to look a bit different. The first step down is our soul level in the spiritual world. This is what makes you, well, you, and different from everyone else. Deep down, we're all made from the same stuff, but this energy takes on different forms and personalities. At this first step, in the spiritual world, we start to feel like individuals. But even here, we're still part of a bigger whole, just with a sense of our own selves. Think of it like being part of a giant, fluid cloud where we're all mixing and splitting in endless ways, each with our own level of awareness. Here, we can move freely through time and space, with no limits. Then, there's the physical world where things get more solid. This world splits into two sublevels that some might call 4D and 3D in spiritual talks. These are just different levels of how solid or dense things feel. The 4D or metaphysical level is where our minds hang out. The 3D or dense physical level is where our bodies are. Each soul shows up as a single mind, but in the physical world, everything needs an opposite. So, one mind splits into two egos, each in its own body. This means one soul, one mind, two egos, and two bodies. Basically, the big divine energy we call God breaks into countless souls, and you're one of them. Your soul shows up as your consciousness, which is you. This consciousness then splits into two egos, you and your twin flame. But here's the kicker, your soul has two sides, positive and negative. Past and current versions of you could be you or your twin flame. Basically, there's only one you, but with two physical aspects that can manifest in as many bodies as needed at any point in time. Before we dive deeper, just a quick heads up. If you're liking this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. A huge thanks to everyone who's been interacting and sharing their thoughts. It really makes a difference. Alright, let's move on to twin flame recognition or activation. Twin flame recognition is all about reaching a higher level of consciousness. The term recognition here is about the moment when two twin flames meet and the soul acknowledges itself through both. This is usually when they first meet or make contact in the physical world. Think of consciousness like the lens through which you see yourself. At the most basic level, you might just see yourself as a physical body limited by time and space. But at the highest level, you realize you're part of this eternal, all-knowing consciousness, what some call God consciousness or Christ consciousness. This is where all truths are clear and all things are possible. When it comes to twin flames, it's like the separate parts of your mind come together. Your two egos, which used to act like two separate people, start living as one mind in two bodies. This coming together is just the beginning of many steps of spiritual growth. There's more to discover like other soul family members, but this knowledge comes from within and then shows up in your life and awareness. This journey maintains the variety and balance of existing in two bodies while allowing you to live in the peace and joy of wholeness. Similar to how the left and right sides of the brain each have their own focus, but you as a person experience it as one brain. You start to grasp the concept of eternity and the endlessness of time and energy. For more info on this, check out the video on our channel about what twin flames are. Your soul recognizes itself in both you and your twin flame, bringing the mind back together as one. Again, it's like how your brain works. Even though it has a right and left side, it functions as one unit. You don't think of yourself as just one side of your brain. You use the whole thing. Similarly, when your consciousness shifts from ego-focused to soul-focused, you see that your soul brings together two twin flames, your ego and your twin's ego, as one mind. This realization is what twin flame recognition is all about. At first, it feels amazing to be so connected to someone, but then it becomes really confusing, to put it nicely. You might think you're just close, but in reality, you're one soul and one mind. The ego wants to keep things separate, to maintain its identity, but the soul desires to bring everything together. The dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is a term that really captures the struggle and pain of twin flame situations. It looks like a love story gone wrong, but there's more going on beneath the surface. The two egos of the shared soul are fighting against their own soul, trying to keep consciousness at the ego level, resisting growth. In this, one ego plays the part of the runner and the other the chaser. It looks like one is trying to escape and the other is trying to fix things, but actually, both are contributing to the situation and doing what they can to hold on to their sense of control. You see, society has conditioned our egos to use fear as the main tool for shaping our lives, either by hiding things or taking things away from others. Having more than others is seen as a way of elevating ourselves and moving up in the world. We do it with everything from the way we run our economies to even the way we get our children to go to bed at night, and we've become well practiced at this over time. So when two egos from the same soul meet up, they resist the elevation of consciousness with everything they have. When the soul starts to wake up, the egos feel their control slipping. They respond by ramping up their fear tactics. The chaser is scared of losing the runner and tries to pull them back, while the runner is frightened by the chaser and tries to get away. This is just the egos trying to stay in charge. During the dark night of the soul, this tension becomes too much. The egos go into overdrive, creating a toxic environment full of obsession and anxiety. Ironically, this toxicity becomes so intense that the soul just wants to wake up and get away from it all. This is the heart of the twin flame dark night of the soul. This underlying current fuels all the obsessive thinking, ghosting, and intense emotions. These are simply its manifestations in the physical world. It's so intense because the two egos share the same mind or mental or energetic field. For those experiencing it, it's truly overwhelming and pushes your limits. If you would like more details on the dark night of the soul, check out the video on our channel about it. Twin flames and spiritual awakening. The twin flame journey is a type of spiritual awakening. It's one way for your consciousness to evolve and rise. Here, the soul rebuilds its mind by bringing its two sides, the twin flames, back together as one mind in two bodies. It's like when we use our brains. We do have two hemispheres, but you don't think of yourself as having two separate brains. When you think thoughts, your brain works as one unit. In the same way, the soul sees its twin flames as one mind. The difference is that while our consciousness is unified at the level of the body, it's still mostly split at the soul level. During a spiritual awakening, we shift from operating as our egos to being our true souls. This is what the twin flame awakening is all about. Practices such as meditation, presence, and mindfulness are simple yet effective methods to raise our awareness levels and engage with this level of reality. The soul as a reflection of the divine. Alright, let's talk about what we mean when we say soul. Now, this is a simplified version because it's quite complex and we're limited by language. Plus, the idea of the soul isn't something we usually talk about in day-to-day life. This explanation is just to provide a basic understanding. It's not a complete breakdown. These insights are mostly taken from teachers like Dolores Cannon and Abraham Hicks, and books like Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. Other teachers to consider include people like Michael Singer, Sadhguru, and Eckhart Tolle, among countless others. All are great sources for further research and exploration. Spiritual awakening is all about reconnecting with this massive, eternal source, your true self. The twin flame journey often kickstarts this awakening. Once you've awakened with your twin flame, there are other levels of awakening that eventually lead to fully merging your mind with the eternal source, reaching what's known as Christ consciousness. In this state, everything and everyone is one, and love is the only thing that exists. The twin flame awakening is just the beginning of a much larger journey of coming together. It's not just about your soul, it's about all of life reconnecting with the eternal source. The twin flame union is a big first step in this universal evolution. The purpose and mission of the soul. In the twin flame community, there's a lot of talk about the soul's purpose or mission. What is the soul really looking for? You might have heard about soul missions and raising the Earth's vibration. These are part of it, but not the whole picture. These concepts are tied to the physical world, but remember, the soul is eternal. Its purpose in taking on a physical form is to express itself through the many types of situations the physical world has to offer. It's like being in a massive multiplayer online world where we're all building our dream life, both as individuals and together as a collective consciousness. In simpler terms, yes, we're here to raise our vibration and help the planet. But the way we do this is not by focusing on things outside ourselves. Instead, we follow our inner guidance and live each moment as fully as we can, with love and goodwill towards all of life. Our goal is to be the grandest version of ourselves we can imagine at that point in time. It's not about showing off or controlling how others see us, but about finding inner peace, fulfillment, and living life to the fullest. When you set out to live life from this place of genuine spiritual engagement, you encounter all kinds of experiences, people, teachers, signs, synchronicities, and life opens up to you in a whole new way. Sometimes it's bright and beautiful, but sometimes it's confusing. Remember, if you're on the path, the dark times are really just the doors to greater levels of awareness. A lot of Abraham Hicks material is helpful in navigating the details of these types of things. The aim is to live a life full of greatness and joy, doing so within the framework of the physical world. It's like a painter who uses the limits of a canvas and a specific amount and type of paint to create a masterpiece. That's the soul's purpose and its view of the physical world. Or, as Neil Donald Walsh puts it in his book Conversations with God, to create yourself anew in each moment of now in the next grandest version of the greatest vision ever you held about who you are. Now, shifting gears a little, we're going to talk about twin flames and communication. When it comes to twin flames, communication isn't just about what you say. It's more about how you see yourself and the situation. It's about shifting your self-perception. The question is about whether you see yourself merely as your personality and physical existence, or if you are aware of yourself as a spiritual being, the consciousness behind it all. Once you make the shift to seeing yourself from the deeper viewpoint, the lines between you and your twin flames start to blur, and it becomes just about the true you. It's as simple and easy as being aware of yourself right now. All you need to do is pause and take notice of who you are right here, right now. Do this frequently, and follow the signs to where life leads you from there. That's the ease and simplicity of the soul's life. At the ego level, you might see yourself as a separate person who either attracts or pushes away your twin flame. But once twin flame recognition starts, this view doesn't work anymore because your soul's awareness has already jumped to a higher level. The ego needs to step aside and let consciousness rise to the soul level. Remember, you are not your ego or your body. You are your soul, a uniquely flavored droplet of source energy. Understanding this helps in relating to your twin flame. When ego and fear are in the driver's seat, it's often better to remain silent and avoid reaching out unless your intuition guides you. However, proceed with caution, and if something doesn't feel right or normal, it's likely not your intuition. If you're unsure about your role, hold back and let life naturally bring you together. If it's important, it will be clear and feel right. If it's not clear or doesn't feel right, it must not be that important. If you're the chaser, don't try to convince your twin flame of your connection. If they are truly your twin flame, you won't need to convince them. Besides, why would you want to? The answer to this is simple. It's the ego seeking control. It feels its power slipping away as the true self emerges. The true self already knows its identity and doesn't feel the need to convince others or to be convinced. If they're not your twin flame, trying to convince them is just not a good situation for them or for you. There's no need to talk about it, and discussing it for the sake of external validation doesn't lead to anything good. There's no need to convince anyone. It simply is what it is. When it comes to twin flames, it really boils down to truth, what you believe and what you feel deep inside. If you find yourself trying to convince your twin flame that they are indeed your twin flame, they won't be able to agree. This is because the law of mirroring energy means their ego has to play the role that opposes the one your ego has taken on. This is the tricky thing about twin flames. The strength and intimacy of the connection is what leads them to run when fear energy clouds your intentions. However, this misalignment won't last forever. Since you are one and the same, it only takes one of you to balance the energy out for both of you. The real truth about your connection will show itself over time, and you don't need to push or manipulate things to make it happen. Just change the way you see things and you'll naturally find your way to each other. It's really important to realize that there's no specific thing you can do to guarantee a perfect outcome with your twin flame. That's because it's all about lifting your awareness to a higher, more spiritual part of yourself. If you're doing things just to get a certain result, you're basically saying something's wrong, and that mindset of trying to fix things is what leads to disappointment. The twin flame connection is all about energy, where the motives behind your actions matter most. Twins are meant to unite, but fear-based attempts to control or manipulate can delay this, even for a lifetime. Letting go of fear is key to rising to the soul level, which is the level of unity. Since you are a soul, the truth will eventually prevail. While it can happen in this lifetime, it's also possible to resist and prevent it. The choice is yours. Choose love and elevate your consciousness. Don't try to convince or coerce. There's no good in that. Realize that the physical manifestation of union is inevitable. To realize it in this lifetime, you don't need to do anything because there's nothing you need to do apart from being yourself, to be yourself. The simplest way to get in touch with this part of you is to meditate and be present as frequently as you can remember to be. Mindfulness, self-care, and exercise are the simplest and most powerful ways of doing this. It seems really simple, but if you follow through, your whole life will shift. For those who have met their twin flame in this lifetime, it really does open the door to manifest union on the physical plane. Talking about the physical union of twin flames can be tricky because it's different from conventional relationships. Common ideas of love and romance focus on passion and emotional highs. But twin flames are about a simple yet unique connection. It's like the calm companionship of a long married couple in their twilight years, yet it's a peace that can be experienced at any age. It's familiar, peaceful, and liberating. This might sound dull to some, leading to distorted expectations. People often approach twin flame relationships expecting the usual highs and lows, but with twin flames, it's more about a steady, peaceful connection. It feels satisfying and free without the need for external validation. The foundation is solid. What you do with it can vary. You might decide to get married not out of a desire to secure commitment, but because it feels right. Or you could live together without official ties or even separately and still be connected. You can part ways for years and pick up right where you left off. It's a free, wholesome relationship. When it comes to children, it's entirely your choice. Follow your desires, instincts, and rational considerations. The unique thing about twin flame relationships is that as your consciousness elevates, you operate as one mind, regardless of your physical situation. Unlike other relationships, a twin flame will always reject fear-based energy and gravitate towards their twin when the energy is right. There might be two bodies, but there's only one soul. With others, two souls can grow closer or grow apart. But with your twin flame, there's no one else to move towards or away from. It's just you. This is a high-level overview. Getting into specifics can be tough because of how much ego and fear influence our worldviews. When we talk about certain actions or guaranteed outcomes, it might sound manipulative, but it's not. It's just a limitation of language and societal norms. The idea of being with your twin flame is often misunderstood as a goal or prize, but it's more about letting go and allowing things to happen naturally. True confidence isn't about force. It's about releasing control and accepting truth, even without concrete proof. The physical union of twin flames is a natural outcome of consciousness and spiritual awakening. When twin flames meet in a world that does not yet understand these concepts, it can be a tough journey with little guidance. Most societal structures won't align with this. Yet, this is the emerging reality for humanity, a path toward unity and love, especially as our technology evolves. Beyond that, exploring spiritual reality and raising consciousness opens the door to many revelations, such as soul groups, soul families, and other connections that go beyond the limitations of your self-awareness within this lifetime. Alright, thanks for sticking with us on this journey through the world of twin flames and physical connections. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the deep spiritual connections of twin flames to the challenges and triumphs of the twin flame journey. We dove into the essence of the soul as a fragment of the divine, explored the unique dynamics of communication between runner and chaser, and envisioned what a harmonious life in twin flame union could look like. We've seen how twin flame relationships are not just about the highs and lows of conventional romance, but about a deeper, more stable connection. It's a journey that challenges us to rise above our egos, embrace our true soul's purpose, and unite with our twin flames in a harmonious and fulfilling way. Before we close, a quick reminder. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support really helps us continue to bring insightful content like this to you. We also love hearing from you, so don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, experiences, or any questions you might have about the twin flame journey. Your interaction is our inspiration. And finally, if you're on your own twin flame journey, remember to trust in the process, listen to your intuition, and stay true to your soul's path. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep loving. Stay connected, and we'll see you in the next video.